tuning in. My name is Chef Dr. Robert Dell'Amore. Such a pleasure to be working with Jen Salvador and South Country Library. Love working with you guys. I've done some team work for you, some adult programming. We're going to do a really great class tonight. I think you're going to be really glad you stopped by and earmarked this time to spend with us. Okay, I'm presenting from my home, of course. I have this table arranged to present the most delicious, nutritious food for your brain, for the microbiome of your gut, to increase absorption in the small intestine, to increase efficiency of avoiding waste materials, prevention of cancer. This is what all these superfoods on my table do. And I have been doing research over 20 years on the connection between heart health and nutrition. Now, the last 5 years, we know there's a definite connection between diet, not only physical health, but mental health. How to prevent depression, how to prevent mood swings and mood changes. We know that the nutraceuticals now, and again, this is as per the research, we know that nutraceuticals, phytonutrients, these are the chemicals in the plants and fruits that we ingest. These phytonutrients and phytochemicals are the basis and the building blocks for prevention of cancer, prevention of diabetes, prevention of obesity, prevention of heart disease, prevention of gastrointestinal problems, and increasing and boosting immunity and energy. So I'm going to try to share with you in the hour. We're going to do 2 recipes and also the research plus the nutrition. So we're going to I want to get started. First thing I want to talk about is this, the extra virgin olive oil. You know, chefs on television are cooking with it all the time, but who talks about how dependent the human brain is on food like this? 100% dependent on, the brain is 100% dependent on healthy sources, dietary sources of fat. And this is the #1 resource for omega-3 unsaturated fatty acids. Think of this as bathing the neurons of the brain, which is actually what it does, okay? It promotes nerve function, maximal nerve function, and if you Google the link between Mediterranean diet and depression, you will see this research that I'm talking about. Started about 2015, 2016, where they did tests on humans and they found a correlation. So this is what I'm talking about. Not only being mindful of eating, but the cooking. And this is where my expertise and my skills lend themselves perfectly. I'm here to share with you some knife skills, some hand positions, how to use the knife safely and efficiently, and use the pantry items that I have arranged here so that you can stretch the food dollar, ration the food. We really have to be conscientious now of what we're putting into our body, the calories that we're putting in. We're certainly not exerting the energy to burn off these calories, so they have to be quality calories. And that's why I'm looking at nutrient-dense foods, okay? Probably the most nutrient-dense food on the planet is this organic kale that I'm having. And you see this paper towel. This is a really fast trick I've developed and been using for over 20 years, wrapping all of my greens, all of my fresh herbs in a paper towel. You're going to see I'm going to be interjecting ways of using the knife with nutritional highlights with how to preserve the food and prevent it from going to waste. We're also going to talk about how to cut the prep time in half, okay? But really, this is critical, to wrap all of your greens in a dry paper towel. Look at this beautiful broccoli rabe with these heads of the florets of the broccoli rabe. Okay, but getting back to the kale, one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet, loaded with vitamin A, C, and K, tons of immunity-boosting potential in the kale. Okay, manganese, magnesium. Look at this as a superfood. I'm going to show you how to chop it super finely. It's going to be your absolute best favorite way to prepare this kale, I promise you. I'm going to serve it raw in a salad, maximally nutritious raw. Okay. What else do I have on my tabletop? I've got avocado, an amazing source of healthy fats. I've got some black beans, tremendous plant source of protein, as well as both soluble and insoluble fiber. Cannot do a cooking class talking about ways of preventing depression, anxiety, stress, and boosting immunity and energy without featuring beans. We're going to talk about that more. My raw garlic, my chopped red pepper. Look at these beautiful ginger roots, okay? This is the way we roll around here. Every day of my life, I have onions, apples, garlic, ginger, bananas, always in my refrigerator, every day of my life. Organic spinach or organic kale. This is the way we roll. Always have delicious mango, avocados, pineapple. And this is really the way to have a healthy pantry that supports not only physical health, but brain health, okay? And I implore you to please look up the research on depression and the Mediterranean diet. We're going to talk about it. So the ginger is a big part of my diet. We're going to feature this in both dishes tonight. My cherry tomatoes, these are toasted sesame seeds. These are untoasted sesame seeds, and these are toasted cumin seeds, whole seeds. Lemon, garlic, onion, of course. I've got some other things over here we'll talk about in a minute, but first, so now what I'd like to do is get started with the cooking, okay? So I'm going to use either of these two chef's knives. I love these. This is a commercial steel blade, really sharp, really amazing. I love it. This is my wonderful Wash Stuff chef's blade. I love this as well. I have I have about 5 ceramic blades, a couple of chef's knives. This is a slicing knife and a paring knife. These are fabulous. These are by the manufacturer Kyocera, or Kyocera, Kyocera. And this is one of the first and still one of the best manufacturers ceramic blades. Kyocera, look them up. They're still about 50, 60 bucks a blade. But super light and never need sharpening. I've had these over 15 years. Never sharpened them once. Okay, my first dish we're going to do for brain health is just bursting with flavor and nutrition coming from vegetables. We're going to pair it with some meat. We're going to use some chicken breast that I have already cubed for us. But let's get started. First thing I need to do, and again, remember both recipes will be available immediately after the presentation. I like to focus on what I'm doing and not be looking at a recipe. Okay, what I've done here is prepared my aromatics by peeling the onion and slicing it in half. Now you can see it's nice and flat. So I turned a round object into something flat. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to then cut it in thirds. And this allows me to produce something between a dice and a slice. I think you're going to like this. Okay, we're going to slice very thinly. And you can see where my hand position is on the knife. At least one finger is on the blade, and it's just guiding the knife beautiful. Okay, now I can also take my knife, slice the onion in thirds, and I can chop. And when I chop quickly, I move the knife. I work more towards the end or distal end of the knife, okay? And watch what I mean. So I use the sharpness of the blade and I work more towards the tip when you're chopping. Okay, I turn on my handy dandy portable gas range here. And what we're going to do is just add about a tablespoon of olive oil. You know, we're never ever measuring the oil, just enough to coat the bottom of the pan. I like to give it a little swirl. This is a really cool, inexpensive $20 Tefal pan from Target. Really like it. Doesn't come with a top, but it's a real diehard, real workhorse. Okay, and I'm gonna heat up the oil enough so that if I add just a sliver of the onion, I hear a sizzle. So I do not add the onion until after I hear a sizzle. That ensures me that this oil is hot enough, and then I can add the rest of the onion. Okay, so I don't have a sizzle yet, so we'll just give it a second. And this again ensures that the onion does not soak up the olive oil. Okay, we want it to hit the oil and start to caramelize. Now, we're not interested in frying the onion. Frying would entail a lot more oil. You're not going to fry with extra virgin olive oil. Just enough oil to cover the bottom of the pan. I'm going to use the back of the knife. And I really recommend you try these little plastic cutting boards, which I love. Okay, easy to transfer the food to your pan. Okay, now I'm going to coat the onion with the olive oil, and let's get a sizzle going here. Okay, and what would every chef in every restaurant, on every cooking show, on every cable channel add to the onion right now? They would add some salt and pepper. I'm just adding some pepper to my onions, and we're going to let that cook a little bit for us. Okay, now I'm going to add a little mushroom because I have it, and this is pantry cooking, right? Whatever we have, we're going to add to our dish. I don't have it in the recipe, but again, you can add or subtract any vegetables you like to this. We're going to feature sweet potatoes and butternut squash. You could add zucchini, anything you like, capers, anchovies. Now, I want to demonstrate pulling motion with my finger on top of the blade. Now, the blade is an extension of my finger, and I'm pulling and using the tip of the knife. It's easy to work with the tip, you see? Much easier than using the rest of the knife. Okay. So, I am going to stress to you the importance of not adding any other ingredients into this pan until these onions start to cook. Because once we introduce any ingredients like the mushrooms here or the chicken, it will stop the caramelization process. So we don't want to do that. It will literally stop caramelization. We will end up with cooked white onions. I want color, so we're going to let them cook. We're going to dedicate the space to them. We're going to make sure they're not burning. And I am going to add just a little bit of red pepper because I want these to cook down too. Okay? And they're a little firm, so I like to add them earlier than later. Okay. Okay, and I have my heat on medium to high. We're going to get moving here. I'm going to add the mushrooms in a few minutes. Now, I can also take the mushroom like this, and again, slice it in half. So now you make a round object flat. And just pull the knife, and by slicing it very thinly, you're going to change the mouthfeel for the mushroom. And this is a great way to hide the mushroom for those that don't like it, think they don't like mushroom, or say they don't like mushroom. When you introduce it in a very thin form, you're changing the mouthfeel, and it's going to melt in the pan and maybe melt in their mouth. That's what we're looking for. And I've been doing cooking classes for children, teens, tweens, and kids and adults for over 15 years with mushrooms, introducing it with just balsamic vinegar, olive oil, garlic, and kids that never had a mushroom before absolutely love it because we slice it very thinly. Okay, so my onions are cooking down nicely. I'm going to add, I've got some nice color. If we weren't live here, I would let these cook a little bit more, but for the sake of moving on, I have two recipes I want to share with you. We're going to add our mushroom. So again,
The mushroom is optional. I have it. You can add any vegetable you like, okay? What we're gonna do now is add some ginger, okay? Now I wanna show you how to prepare this. Now I like to buy it when it's nice and firm. I store it in the refrigerator, a combination of the refrigerator and out on the countertop. It can also be stored, I do that so it doesn't pick up too much moisture in the refrigerator, and out on the countertop it will age much faster. It retards it from going bad. If you keep it in the refrigerator, I like to bring it back and forth. You can also keep it in the freezer and take it out, frozen, peel it, and use a microplane and mince it like that, okay? Okay. Now, in my recipe, I also call for cooking the sweet potato with the onion. And the butternut squash, the directions call for cooking it in a 400-degree oven on a sheet pan like this, with just enough oil to coat the bottom, any type of oil you like, canola oil, vegetable oil, olive oil, and the sweet potatoes and butternut squash are chopped small. Okay, so we're gonna have, I'm gonna show you what I like to do. If I'm only using half of the potato, I'm gonna keep the other half of the potato with the skin on. It stays longer and better in the refrigerator. What I've done is cut this in half. Now I have a flat surface. I can lay it flat, and I just slice it thinly like so. Okay, so I have 4 strips here. Wow, this smells really good. And I didn't even add the garlic or ginger. Okay. Okay, what I am going to do is add a little bit of dry basil and some dry oregano. Do not add any salt, only fresh cracked black pepper. Okay, big aroma there. Now I take my strips of my butternut squash or sweet potato and then turn them 90 degrees to my knife, and I produce a rough dice. And again, the sweet potato can be cooked here in the pan, but it would take a bit longer for us here, so I roasted them in the oven with the butternut squash, and this is what we have, this beautiful medley of caramelized. There's nothing on these, no salt, no pepper, no garlic, nothing, just the olive oil that I roasted them in, and they're delectable. So these are already cooked. I'm going to add these at the end, okay? We're going to cook our chicken in just a minute. Now, a lot of chefs like to build flavor with the grizzle from the chicken or from the steak when they cook it in the pan with the pork. They'll brown the chicken, right, and then they'll take it out and they'll deglaze the pan. I do things opposite. I like to bring big flavor from the vegetable to the chicken, and this is a different, healthier way to go. I don't say that it's better. It's just I'm looking at this as just really building flavor as we add vegetables, okay? Okay, so again, those sweet potatoes could be cooked in the pan. You can even cook the butternut squash in the pan, but 400-degree oven is really gonna roast these perfectly, okay? Just keep an eye on it. Okay, let's get going here. I've got my ginger, and I have this cut here lengthwise, a nice flat surface that I want to show you. This is how I keep the ginger. Okay, I'll put a little piece of saran wrap on this, and this is how I process it. I'm going to take this ginger, look at this beautiful piece. The aroma is intoxicating. It elevates my mood like this. And I am serving myself about half of this size, about the size of a thumb knuckle, this size piece of ginger every morning in a smoothie. If I don't have the smoothie, I will be having a salad for lunch. So I'm getting my greens every day of my life. So either a smoothie or a salad every day. including the beans, including raw garlic like we're going to do tonight. Okay, so here's my ginger peeled perfect. Now, I'm not going to put all this in there. We're going to just slice this thinly like this. So I have little matchsticks. Okay, now I'm going to just turn them 90 degrees and then cut across the matchstick and produce a beautiful, quick, safe mince of my ginger. Now what's nice, especially when you're cooking with the ginger, it's great to have the pieces a little bigger, because when you bite into the piece, the caramelized ginger, it's an explosion of flavor on your palate. It's also nice when it's minced very finely and then you just have the hint of the ginger. It comes through. It's amazing. Okay, what about some garlic? So you can see this is just cooking perfectly. My peppers are cooking down. I need some garlic in here. We're going to take a clove here. We're going to crush it. Then I'm going to mince it finely. You see when I'm chopping quickly, always by the end of the blade. That's why it's so important when you get your steel blades sharpened that you have them sharpen the tip and you remind them to do that. Okay, I'm going to rock the knife like this and produce a nice mince. Okay, it's going right in my pan. Of course, cleaning the knife after every aromatic, every vegetable that went through. Okay. So I'm showing you how to really saute these onions and peppers perfectly. I've got wonderfully caramelized onion here. My mushrooms that I had in the refrigerator, throwing them in, adding big umami, big flavor, big nutrition, niacin, selenium, folate, vitamin A, vitamin D. Look it up. Mushrooms are such a superfood, super healthy for brain health as well. Okay, we're ready for our chicken, so we're going to add this like so. So this is a breast. This is a nice sized breast that I've cut into cubes. And you could use ground turkey if you'd like. You could use ground chicken. You could use steak, strip steak, sliced very thinly if you like. You could use a thigh. The key is not overcooking the white meat. And that's why I like to use it. In my classes, it's much easier to overcook the white meat than it is dark meat. A little balsamic vinegar, which is adding only about 2 grams of sugar. No salt, 2 grams of sugar that are now going to form a glaze when it's introduced to the heat. So if you notice, I didn't move the pan. I want that glaze on the bottom of the pan with the balsamic to really develop flavor, and this is where the magic happens. By not disturbing it, it's forming a nice glaze in one layer. I'm going to move it in a minute, make sure it's not burning. Okay, no salt. How about some cayenne pepper? That would be delicious as well. If you like it spicy, that's the way I roll. Okay, I've got ginger, I've got garlic, got my olive oil. I've got my onions caramelized perfectly, my roasted peppers. We are now going to add, well, what I really want to show you is you must make sure that the chicken is separated and that it's cooking evenly. So it is important that you cut the chicken the same size. Okay, it's better to have uniform sizes so that when you're checking your chicken, you want to make sure that it's fully cooked through and not overcooked. Remember, the thigh, much more forgiving, a lot of flavor, but more cholesterol and more saturated fat. Remember, the thigh, we could throw it on a grill outside, close it, and come inside and go back out in a few minutes, okay? You can never do that with the breast on the grill. And likewise, you're never going to take your eyes off this pan once the white meat goes in the pan. You don't go and do something else. Now, we could make this an Asian stir fry. and add some less sodium soy sauce, teriyaki sauce, or hoisin sauce, which is a thicker version of soy sauce. Delicious. Hoisin, hoisin sauce. Love it. Haven't used it in a while because it is pretty salty, and I really love the balsamic. Okay, my chicken is cooking perfectly. The aroma is amazing. I've cooked the peppers down. We could add some beans to this if we wanted to. Instead, I'm going to add these beautiful peppers and, sweet potatoes and butternut squash. Now, I've got a great, I love to introduce new flavor combinations, and I think this is going to be a real winner. Pineapple with the butternut squash is a marriage made in heaven. It's incredible. And I want to show you how I prepare this. I'm sorry, I need another knife. Give me a second, please. What happened to my screen? Where is it? Oh, what happened? Okay. So, a little trick about keeping the pineapple fresh for weeks on end, ripening as we're going along. I promise you this is going to be one of your favorite tips. Okay. What you see here is a pineapple that has been topped, and then what I did was I had it in the refrigerator upside down. So the reason why we do this is the pineapple in this state with the top here, all the sugar is towards the bottom. So it's actually sweeter on the bottom versus the top. So when the pineapple is ripe, and you tell by pulling out the inner leaves if they release, and again, I'm keeping it at home on the countertop. Don't buy the pineapples that are perfectly ripe. Buy the biggest one that you see, and then bring it home and let it ripen at home, unless you need it that night or the next day. Once you can pull out the leaves, it's pretty much on its way to getting ripe. I like to let it sit another day, maximally ripe, then I top it, and then it immediately gets put in the refrigerator like this. So now the sugar is going to continue to return back to the rest of the pineapple. Okay, now I want to prepare some pineapple in the morning for myself for breakfast with my yogurt, my whole milk, plain yogurt. I'm going to take the pineapple, lay it on end, and I'm going to slice a very thin slice. Now look at how beautiful it is. Absolutely incredible. Okay, this pineapple, like this, encased and protected in its skin, with the cut side down, will last over 2 weeks in my refrigerator. It will not discolor at all. It will only get riper because we protected it, we kept its protective skin on. As soon as we cut this, you know what's going to happen. So this is the way to roll. Take it out, you slice it, and then the beauty of this is I just take my knife and cut around the edge like this, and in no time, I've removed this skin. You see? Now, another trick I like to share with my students is always to have a bowl or a Tupperware on the table, and all of your garbage goes in the bowl. You don't have to go back and forth to the garbage bin. Okay, then I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to slice on either side of the core, and then I turn it 90 degrees and do it again. So here's my core, okay? And now I have this beautiful, sweet, perfectly ripe, and will continue to ripen perfectly in the refrigerator with its skin on. I'll turn it 90 degrees and then cut it again. This is absolutely the most delicious combination. The pineapple with the savory sweet potato and butternut squash. You cannot believe this combination. You would never think it works, and it's absolutely delicious. Okay, so this is going to go in my dish right here. And this is ready to serve. Now, what I've prepared is some jasmine rice, and I made it special by adding toasted cumin seeds.
And toasted whole cumin seeds and whole sesame seeds you can order online. I have a ton of them here. Sesame seeds, cumin seeds, coriander seeds, mustard seeds. I've got my flax seeds. I've got my chia seeds, my cayenne pepper. Look up, Google, health benefits of cayenne pepper. Insane research on it. I've got my cinnamon, could not live without that. Okay, so what I did was just add some toasted cumin seeds to my rice as it was cooking. No olive oil, no salt, nothing. And you can't believe the aroma and flavor of this jasmine rice. You can use basmati rice. Okay, we could use couscous. We could make it over pasta. We could make it over quinoa. Serve it any way we'd like, okay? But I'm gonna plate this up for us right here, right now, okay? And I'm gonna move on to my next recipe. So we're gonna take some rice, plate it here. And again, if you want to put this in a taco or burrito, it'd be delicious, right? So many different ways to present this dish. You could do it as a side vegetable dish without the chicken, and or serve the chicken a different way. Okay, this is gonna come like this. Flavored with ginger, garlic, caramelized onions. The pepper brings big flavor, red pepper. Balsamic glaze. This is my first dish, my chicken with butternut squash and sweet potatoes over jasmine rice. Delish. Okay, I'm gonna put this over here. Okay. Let's see, this is gonna go away. This is gonna go away. Okay, I love teaching this next dish, which is my ginger mango kale salad. And again, when you're talking heart health, when you're talking brain health, you have to talk about dark greens like spinach, collard greens, or kale. Remember, when you think healthy foods, think dark greens versus lighter greens. Also, think more color, more health. Think of blueberries. Look at this red cabbage, just insanely healthy and nutritious. Think of these red peppers with 3 times the vitamin C of a green pepper. Sweet potatoes, bursting with color, right? Carrots, beta carotene. These are all superfoods, and all you have to do is go by the axiom, more color, more health. With the greens, more darker the color, the healthier the green. Okay, so when we buy our organic kale, we're gonna bring it home. When we're ready to use it, if we're not ready to use it, you take it out of the bag, you transport it home with, and it goes in the fresh drawer with the paper towel like this, not in the container. All you have to do to process this after you've washed it and air dried it, or put it in a spinner, and you could do this before you wash it, all you need to do is remove the stem. You don't need any knife skills to do that. Just pull it off the rib, okay? And then I want to show you what I like to do. Okay. I need another bowl here. Where's my other bowl? Oh. Okay. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second here. I made a little mistake. Okay. I have been using that. Okay. Here. Okay, so this is really what I love to share. I've been teaching this particular way to prepare the kale for over 15 years. Everyone loves it. Okay, we're going to prepare it in a fashion sliced very thinly. It's called chiffonade. Chiffonade is a French culinary term which means slicing thinly like wisps of straw or hay. And that's what we're going to try to achieve here. And if we just have the kale like this, it's hard to slice it very thinly. But if we scrunch it into a bowl, you can take it in your hand, squeeze it, and grit your teeth and take your stress out on the kale. Your knuckles get white and you squeeze it into a bowl. Now it's compressed. And this will allow you to slice it very thinly. And again, I want you to take a look at my hand position here. I'm slicing very thinly. My auxiliary hand is assuming a claw position, and the knuckles are always 90 degrees to the cutting surface, okay? Now I'm going to gently push the knife and just slice it very thinly. Or I can take my knife and slice it so thin. And again, I can just push it nice and easy. Best to start out doing this with just a little bit of kale in the palm of your hand, squeeze it into a little bowl, maintain the pressure so that you can slice it very finely. And I want you to see this middle finger knuckle here. Why is it green? You didn't see me do this to the kale. That's because every knife strike is gliding up against this knuckle. And that's the proof, okay? So this is controlling, this hand is controlling the knife, not vice versa. And this is how we chop efficiently and safely, okay? Now, you can cut your preparation time down in half by doing this ahead of time and having it stored in the refrigerator in a Tupperware, and you're literally taking ingredients and just plopping them into the prep bowl or in a saute pan. That's the way I love to roll, breaking out the prep. Okay, here's my salad bowl. Again, look at the wisps of kale. So we went from this to this. Very fine wisps of kale. And this is going to be the bed for our salad. Okay, now if you don't have kale on hand, you can make the salad, because I know you're going to love it, but if you don't have the kale on hand, then use romaine hearts, you could use arugula, you could use organic baby spinach, but do not try the chiffonade technique on any of those. They do not hold up to the chiffonade cut, the very thin cut. They just wilt down to nothing. And that's why this is so special, because the kale holds up to that thin cut. And it's the perfect combination with our next ingredient, which is my red cabbage. So again, look up, please, look up on Google 5 words: cruciferous vegetables and cancer prevention. Now, we're talking about superfoods that prevent oxidative change, inflammation that leads to cell change, cancerous cells, okay? Look it up. The research is unequivocal. Cruciferous vegetables and cancer prevention. Okay, watch how I process this. I'm going to take my thumb here, 4 fingers behind. I'm going to take my hand from here and do this. Now, when you change its position, you're changing everything about this blade. There's no force now in my upper extremity. There's no energy now being forced into the blade because I'm just caressing the blade, okay? By moving my finger here. From here, it's very firm, the grip, and a lot of energy, right, and precision, a lot of force. But my pinky comes off the blade because of the perfect balance in this blade. That's why I love it so much, okay? So I'm gonna go from here to here. And now this allows me to slice super thinly. Look how thin. Okay, so I lay the blade up against the cabbage, and I'm going to slice super thinly. If I take my hand and do this, I'm going to go, immediately I start to go deep into the cabbage. So if you want to use this technique to make a slaw like this, or slice, slice thinly, or peel large vegetables like eggplant, this is your position. What about cleaning your chicken of any fat? You can use this technique, and it cleans the fat perfectly without getting any of the chicken to go to waste, okay? Try this technique here to slice thinly. I love this technique here. I start from the inside and go out. Now, when I think cabbage, I think 3 C's: color, crunch, and cancer prevention. Now, this is the perfect marriage with my kale. I could use green cabbage or red cabbage. but this is going in my diet every day of my life, either in a kale smoothie with mango and blueberries and frozen organic strawberries and cinnamon and ginger, 1 inch by 1 inch piece of ginger, or I'm having a salad. Okay, now we're gonna go crazy with superfoods. Okay, next is my carrot. And I love carrots, loaded with beta carotene, of course, vitamin A. I like to shred it like this. It's just different. And it's also very nice for those of us that love the carrot but don't like it cut because it's too hard. If you have any dental issues, this is a really easy way to do this, okay? So I'm just shredding the carrot, and I'm using my Tupperware top as a cutting board. We're going to talk about this in a minute. Less than a minute. How about right now? Okay, I'm going to dump my cherry tomatoes on my cutting board. I'm not even looking. And they're not moving off this cutting board because of this rim. And this is what I love to teach when I teach cooking classes, is to introduce this idea of using the Tupperware tops as cutting boards. It can be square, it can be rectangular, it can be round. But this is great for round objects when you're cutting round objects. Also prevents any juice from rolling off the cutting board, okay? Now these are beautiful cherry tomatoes here that are extra long and big. I'm not gonna cut them in half, I'm gonna cut them across. And I really love these cherry tomatoes in the off season. In the summer, I'm gonna go with an early girl or a beefsteak tomato, right? A beautiful plum tomato, heirloom tomatoes. I'm gonna cut them on this cutting board like this so that the juice doesn't go all over. Okay, try it, okay? You can see the juices here, nothing here. Okay, next are my beans, I'm sorry. So my beans, I could use red beans, black beans, chickpeas, cannellini beans, any bean that you like. But when you're adding the bean to the salad, it brings so much. Remember, it's a plant source of protein, super nutritious, packed with not only nutrition, but fiber and protein. The fiber is both soluble and insoluble fiber in the beans. Soluble fiber is paramount in removing cholesterol from the blood. This is imperative in preventing strokes and heart disease. So this fiber is such a superfood for heart health. What about what's going on in the microbiome and the gut, in particular in the small intestine? When you boost up your fiber, like we're doing here, eating half a can of beans every day in a salad or as a side dish, making bean salads, they're delicious and filling. When you do that, you bang up and boost your immunity and boost absorption ratios in the small intestine because of the increase in fiber. So I want you to shift perception about fiber. I hope that this resonates with you. Fiber is not, the most important function of fiber is not to increase, make us regular and increase voiding of waste materials, going to the bathroom better. No, that is a side effect of increased fiber. The real benefit to us is increased absorption in the small intestine. This allows us to be fuller for longer periods of time. Okay, this is especially true for teenagers who are always craving carbs, always hungry. Hey, you throw some beans, sneak them in there. You can even throw beans in this dish, it'd be delicious. Any chance you get the beans in the diet, okay? The kidney bean and lentil are the highest in protein and fiber. So when I buy the canned beans or the dry beans, I buy 1 red, 1 black, 1 red, 1 chickpea, 1 red, 1 cannellini bean. So I always have the red in the diet. Okay, we're going to take our fresh ginger. Again, you see this beautiful face here. Actually, I have another piece here. What did I do with it? Here it is. Okay, I have it nice and flat. I could even take my knife, and I love to do this. Slice it very thinly like this. Look at this. Okay, so now I'm going to get really nice small pieces of ginger here, because this is sliced so thinly. I stack them one on top of the other,
and then just take my knife and produce again that thin matchstick Juliette, okay? Okay, this is just absolutely gonna bring so much nutrition. Remember that ginger is antibacterial, antiviral. Also prevents motion sickness and nausea. Is a gastrointestinal tool. It helps in digestion. It has a calming effect as well. Again, important for mental health. The aroma itself is intoxicating. I just think it's the best. Okay. Now, this raw ginger is maximally nutritious, as is the raw garlic that I'm about to add. Now, I'm going to take these 2 medium-sized cloves here, and I'm going to slice them very thin. And then I can take my knife and lock it with my fingers on top of the blade. Don't forget to look up the research on Mediterranean diet, increasing fruits and vegetables, and how it prevents Alzheimer's disease, memory disorders, as well as aggressive and impulsive behavior. It's incredible, the research on the foods related to the Mediterranean diet. You really have to be savvy and aware of the benefits, and then hopefully you'll include them in your diet more often, okay? Okay, so this raw garlic is 6 times healthier than cooked garlic. 6 times healthier. That's why we're adding it to our salad along with bringing big flavor. Okay, now I'm going to sweeten it up with some apple, which I already have cut here. Okay, I'm not going to use this knife because I just cut the garlic with it. And I'm going to cut it right here. I'm going to cut it in quarters. And any apple you like brings just incredible sweetness, incredible crunch, okay? And listen, if you're not eating an apple every day during this viral pandemic, I don't know why you're not doing that. You know, we know an apple a day, right, keeps the doctor away. Well, now's the time to be eating healthy, okay? So get this in the diet, either in your whole milk plain yogurt in the morning, or in your rolled oats, or with hummus. The apple is amazing with hummus. We just did a homemade hummus class, hummus and tahini. Okay, I've got another fruit that I want to share with you what to do, how to process it. So similar to the benefits with the pineapple of keeping the skin on and keeping it in the refrigerator, just ripening as you go. I promise you this is going to be one of your favorite tricks you learned tonight. I do the same thing with mango. Okay, so again, you don't buy the mango unless you need to serve it that night or the next day, which is not a good idea. Most of the produce is not ripe enough to do that. So best is to buy the biggest mango you see. Pick up the biggest ones. When you bring them home, they go in your cupboard like this, or in a dark brown paper bag. I do the same thing with my avocado. Anything that I want to hasten the ripening, it goes in a dark, confined, cool spot. Okay. Once the mango is yielding to some pressure, starting to give off its aroma through its skin, it's amazing. When they ripen, it goes in the refrigerator. When I'm ready to process it, what I do is I peel it, and I want to show you what I do. I peel only the area that I'm going to use. So watch what I do. I take my peeler, right? By the way, outside of my chef's knives and my ceramic blades, this is my absolute favorite utensil. I could not live without a peeler. And if you feel the same way, you're eating super well because you're eating fruits and vegetables every day. If you're not touching a peeler, you got to say, well, I'm not getting these fruits and vegetables in the diet enough. Let me get a good peeler. This is OXO Good Grips. Love it. Okay, so you see what I did here? I just peeled enough off for me to be able to do this. I'm going to slice little wedges. I don't even have to touch the mango, okay? It just goes in my bowl, okay? I can make a slice like that,
and then slice through, and you see my mango falls right into my pan. Okay. But what this allows me to do is keep the mango sweet and lasting longest by keeping the peel on. Okay, so when you start, you're just peeling 1 or 2 or 3 slices. It's easier to hold the mango too because you've left the skin on. If you peel it, it's going to be really mushy and slippery. Okay, then it goes back in the Tupperware, and this goes back in my refrigerator. Okay, we are ready to rock here. I think I have everything ready. Okay, we need to dress this with a little olive oil. Extra virgin, remember, think of this as liquid gold for your brain. Super important for walnuts, avocados, anything bursting with omega-3 unsaturated fats is healthy for brain health. You will see the research. Look it up. A little balsamic vinegar. If you have apple cider vinegar, that's delicious as well. A little fresh cracked black pepper. I could add pineapple to this. I could add plum or peach, anything that's ripe, super ripe. You know the plum during the summer, that plum that's in the back of your refrigerator, you bite into it and the juice goes down your arm. That's what I'm talking about. Sweetness that's bursting in flavor. Now, doesn't this look beautiful? We didn't even turn it yet. I did not even put a spoon to this or anything. Watch what happens when we mix this up, okay? You have this incredible chiffonade kale that's just giving an amazing texture. It's not wilty at all. It's holding up to the crunch of the cabbage. You have the crunch and color and cancer-fighting properties of the kale and the cabbage. What about the health benefits of the apple? Hey, don't forget you could add some cubed cheese if you like to increase a little calcium and a little protein to this. We've got our beans. Okay, I'm going to plate this for us. And I tell you, you could add grilled chicken to this or steak, anything you'd like, but it really does not need anything other than what's in this bowl. It really is just a super salad on its own. So to plate this, I'm just going to plate this in the center. I like to have my mango on top. Okay, look at this beautiful salad. My apples for crunch. We could add blueberries to this. Okay, olives would be delicious. But the final ingredient is my toasted sesame seeds. And you have got to try this. This is just absolutely addictive. Now, the toasted sesame seed is going to give off an aroma, a beautiful bouquet, which is, again, enhanced when you toast it in a dry pan. I teach how to do that with my hummus, homemade hummus and tahini class. Super easy. But these are going to add crunch, and they also very, very efficiently offset a craving for carbs, a piece of Italian bread or any type of bread with a salad. Remember, the sesame seeds are typically coating a piece of Italian bread, and when you bite into this, these sesame seeds kind of dampen that craving for any type of carb, a snack, a cracker or a piece of bread or whatever. This is the way to go, the toasted sesame seeds. I'm going to include a picture of this along with the recipes for you so you can see what it looks like. I'll send it to Jen. But I think that you'll agree that this is a real winner, this salad. This is my dish here, my chicken and butternut squash, roasted butternut squash over with pineapple and mushrooms over some jasmine cumin seed rice. I hope that you try these at home and experiment with the chiffonade of cutting very thinly, safely with the kale. I think that these are really key foods to get into the diet almost on a daily basis. We're eating sweet potato practically every day. We're making home fries with them with a little turmeric, za'atar spice as well. It's just endless, the different ways you can incorporate vegetables into a gourmet diet. And and live a healthy lifestyle featuring more fruits and vegetables. Hummus is a great example. The chickpeas, raw garlic, lemon juice, olive oil. That's a great vehicle to eat more vegetables with. You're not going to snack on vegetables, but if you have the hummus laying around, you're going to want to dip those vegetables into it. I think it's so much better than pita. And try my really cool trick, which is a Granny Smith apple or a Gala apple in the hummus. It's delicious. I hope that you enjoyed this program. I'd love to take some questions now. Does anybody have any comments? And I'd love it if you share this information with those that you love, and anyone that's looking for ways of introducing more fruits and vegetables into the diet in the most delicious way. This is what we do here. I would be remiss if I didn't wish all my mothers out there a little early Mother's Day greeting, and wish you a healthy and happy and safe Mother's Day. I lost my mother a couple of years ago, and it's never the same for me. So if you have your moms, worship them, and just enjoy them to the max. Let's go. What do we got? What do we got for comments? Questions? Anything, Jen?
We do not have anything in the chat right now, and I invite everybody who might have a question or comment to unmute themselves, or I can read from the chat if you would rather type. And while we give people a minute to do that, Chef, why don't you tell us how you became a chef? What inspired you and your love of food?
That's great. So thank you, Jen. So I come from a family of amazing chefs. My grandmother was absolutely just one of the, really just an insane chef in the kitchen. My mother, every day of my life, I woke up, I found my mother in the kitchen. Just fabulous cook, and taught me everything that I know today. My father, on the other hand, was reading over 50 years ago about the health benefits of raw garlic. He included raw garlic in every salad, and again, he was having salad every day, and he reeked of garlic. He loved to read, and he knew the health benefits of ginger and tea tree oil and vitamin E 50 years ago. The importance of my mother was making homemade granola. So I grew up in a house that was really conscientious, an Italian-American household, but also one focused on nutrition and the connection between diet and health. I then said, I think that I can share this information, and I think it's important enough for me to do that, and I can maybe present it in an entertaining way. And I've been doing it for over 15 years now. I brought the program to 22 states nationally, including Alabama, Texas, Alaska, the entire Northeast, Mid-Atlantic region as well, Ohio. Bringing my program, promoting more a Mediterranean style of cooking and eating to those in the Midwest and Alaska that were really never tasted any of these foods. They loved the crunch of the cabbage and kale, the addition of the apple, the tartness of the balsamic vinegar, cooking with balsamic, what it does to the mushroom, it's incredible. My goal is to really motivate people to look at food as food for the brain, food for prevention of diabetes, obesity, and heart disease. But really, this is the way we've been living for over 2 months. We have not gone out to eat once. A couple of orders of food delivered. I did have to run to the store a couple times, but we're just eating to our heart's content. And the chicken and meat is really a side note to the artichokes that we're making, roasted peppers. We just have the butternut squash and sweet potatoes, just delicious and super healthy.
Yeah, it sounds like all stuff that will keep you nice and full. We do have a question here. How long can you keep ginger, lemons, and limes?
Okay, great question. So all of my citrus goes in the refrigerator right away. My grapefruit, my oranges, my apples, of course, and the lemons. So they stay twice as long in the refrigerator and never ever in a bag. The ginger will last, I have this ginger now a couple of weeks. I mean, it was almost twice the size of this, believe it or not. And it's staying beautifully because I store it in the refrigerator, but then I take it out, I let it cool down, because the moisture is not the best for the ginger. It's a little, they're like onions and garlic. They don't like the cold environment of the refrigerator for prolonged time. So this will last 2 weeks, okay? If you find that you're not using it enough and it's going bad, put it in the freezer and use a microplane, or freeze it, let it defrost a little bit, and then you can cut it really fine. But that's a great question.
Okay, and that looks like the only question. Oh wait, I just got, where do you keep your sweet potatoes and regular potatoes?
Great. Those I'm keeping now, believe it or not, in the cold environment of my garage. It's been cold enough that is a perfect storage for the sweet potatoes and regular potatoes. You have to be careful again. The onions pick up the moisture, they get a little mushy, but the potatoes are best stored in a cool, dry area. You could keep them in the refrigerator, but again, you want to move them out. They will pick up too much moisture. Right now, the garage has been perfect. When we have delivery, we have them bring it right into the garage. We process it, we disinfect all the plastic, blah, blah, blah. And we wait about 24 hours before we bring it in.
Okay, and everyone else in the chat is just saying it's a great demonstration. They are happy to say that they have most of the ingredients in their kitchens, and they say thank you and wish you a good night.
Listen, everyone, thank you again. Happy Mother's Day. Stay safe, stay healthy. If you have any questions, you can hit me up via email. It will be included in the recipes that I'm including, along with the photos of these delicious dishes. So thank you again, Jen. Hope you enjoyed it, and everyone else, thank you for your time. Stay safe and be well.
Yep, thank you very much. And everyone participating, I do have your emails from when you registered, and I will be sending out the recipes. And if anybody is viewing this afterwards on the YouTube channel from the library, you can get in touch with me or anybody at the library, and they'll forward your information for me to get the recipes to you. All right, thank you very much, and enjoy your weekend as well.
Thank you again. Thanks so much, Jen.